automated system.
Now, I hear that this is the second busiest airport in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, behind Logan, that's correct.
Yeah, but that's in the number of landings and takeoffs, not the number of passengers.
Let's think about that. I would say that it's probably both, because from a commercial standpoint in the state, and I wouldn't swear to that, but I'm quite sure that it's both, because if we look at the passengers that actually are enplaned here at the airport, it would exceed, I believe, any airport other than Logan.
Yeah, but relative to Logan, we're not.
No, it's a big. I don't know what the Logan is. I believe. And I would have to verify this, but I believe last year the number of employments, the people who boarded commercial scheduled airlines here, was somewhere in the low 200,000, something like that.
And I gather the people that fly directly from here to Europe.
Occasionally we have, there's corporate airplanes. You'll see, if you see the big airplanes on the south ramp, you'll see their registration numbers. If they're from the United States, they all start with an N. Yeah. Occasionally you'll see some odd letters on different airplanes, and the airplanes will dispatch out of here and go anywhere in the world, really, some of these corporate airplanes.
That's amazing. Yeah. Now, I gather when your predecessor was on here, he was talking about the fact that the size of the airplanes has increased considerably.
Yes. Yeah, it seems like the aircraft mix, and that's one of the reasons for looking at this south ramp expansion is the airplanes. Although it appears there's an awful lot of pavement there, as the airplanes become larger, one airplane takes up a lot more space and requires a certain criteria that we need to comply with the FAA when these airplanes are moving under their own power. That has to be so much clearance beyond the wing. So all of a sudden we're starting to take up an awful lot of area, even in the parking area.
So what are you going to do about that?
Well, again, that's what we're looking at. Yeah. That's why the look at extending the south ramp. That's why that project is out there. There's been times in the past where there just hasn't been room. I mean, the airplanes have landed and they haven't been able to stay. They've been able to.
Oh, you'd send them home?
I believe it probably could still happen. At the real peak times, occasionally an aircraft would come in. Have to deplane their passengers, and then they might just relocate the airplane. They might go over to Hyannis and sit there.
Oh, I see.
Not send all the way home, but relocate to another airport. Yeah. I would say that's quite rare. Maybe a few years ago, when the economy was a little better and we had more activity, that may have happened on a little more of a regular basis.
Yeah. Now, you recently had a VIP in here.
We did.
And what kind of complications did that cause?
It is quite complicated. Of course, the Secret Service basically run that. Quite complicated, but the airport staff. First time I was ever directly involved with it. I wouldn't say responsible for it, but involved. But the airport staff has been through it before, so it went very smooth. It actually it was quite surprising the limited impact it had on the other operations. I mean, we had a very short period of time where we had to cease other aircraft moving in and out as the vice president was on the move, but not a huge impact. Used up resources, extra manpower assisting the Secret Service and that type of thing. But all in all, very smooth operation.
They brought some big planes in here too.
They brought two what they call C-17s, which are cargo aircraft, and they transport the necessary equipment, including vehicles and ground support. All that comes ahead of time, and then the vice president arrives on Air Force 2, which could be whatever aircraft he's riding in. Happened to be a Boeing 757 this year, which is what he normally rides in. So that's his transport. And then it goes in reverse. Time to leave, he leaves on the 757, and the two other cargo planes come in and retrieve all the equipment.
See?
So it's quite complicated.
I can see that. Now, why are you extending the runway?
Well, safety is the number one priority. Just a little bit more room on that runway will allow some better usage of the runway, more efficient. And the other big priority, I think, what really drove again, safety was number one, but right behind safety was by extending that runway, it's going to allow us to really provide better noise abatement procedures. By allowing that runway to be used by different aircraft at different times under different weather conditions, it will allow for more over-water flights and reduce some of the overland flights, which create the noise issues.
I see.
So that's,
it's not and it's not a safety issue. In other words, you got to get up to your certain speed and then be able to stop.
Yeah, we have what in aviation we call that an accelerate stop distance. And there's a bunch of different safety factors when we operate the aircraft. So that is all part of it, and that's one of the things that we're only extending the runway by 500 feet, but that 500 feet really adds a pretty big safety margin and allows some larger aircraft to use that runway again, which will give us a better, more efficient movement of the airplanes, but also definitely the factor of getting the airplanes out over the water, hopefully more often. That will limit the noise impact.
Now, as growing up here, I heard a rumor that the actual runways aren't quite lined up with the wind direction at the airport because they took the wind readings from Brant Point. Is that true?
Oh, I have never heard that one. Of course, as always, we have variable winds. Very often the runways are built by, the land that's available.
Yeah.
They try to get them into a prevailing wind, but I've never heard that one. But
well, that's what I got way back when. Yeah. As I can remember seeing the Ford Tri-Motors coming in across the street.
Sure, yeah.
Parker Gray and people like that.
Yeah, our current Airport Commission member, David Gray, that was his grandfather, who was very...
it grandfather or father?
Grandfather.
Grandfather.
Grandfather. I believe I'm correct in saying that. His
the last time I went duck hunting with Parker. But that generally meant going back and drinking whiskey.
more of that than duck hunting.
That's right. That's what you look forward to. Well, it's been very good talking to you. Have I asked you everything I should have asked you?
I believe so, yeah. That's good.
Well, welcome to Nantucket's proper management of the airport.
Well, thank you.
You've been here so long for other reasons. Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you very much for coming in, Bill. And
you're welcome. It was a pleasure.
We'll expect wonderful things from you.
We'll try.
Thank you. All right.
Welcome.